Here comes a moment in life when everything you've worked so hard for starts to feel out of reach. After sleepless nights, broken promises, and endless attempts to fix what refuses to be fixed, you find yourself questioning, why isn't it working? You've done everything right, hustled, meditated, prayed, manifested, and still nothing moves. It's as if the universe is ignoring your calls, and you can't help but feel stuck in a loop that never seems to break. But here's the truth you've been avoiding. You've been forcing alignment with a clenched fist. The universe doesn't answer clenched fists. It answers surrender. Carl Jung, a man known for diving deep into the human psyche, once said, "What you resist not only persists but grows in size." You've been affirming your future, repeating mantras and setting intentions. But deep inside, your energy is sending a completely different message. I don't have it. I'm not enough. I'm scared. The world listens to your energy, not your words. Your efforts aren't failing because you're lazy or broken. You're stuck in survival mode, trying to control things that were never meant to be controlled. You can't force alignment. You attract what you are, not what you want. So what if I told you that the most powerful thing you can do right now is stop? Stop chasing, stop forcing, stop proving. But not out of fear, no. Not from a place of weakness, but from a place of wisdom. Not because you're giving up, but because you're giving in. In surrender, there is power. When the doing stops, the becoming begins. When the noise dies down, the unconscious awakens. And when you stop interfering, your psyche begins to heal. The shadow begins to integrate, and reality starts aligning all on its own. This is not the end of your efforts. This is the beginning of your surrender. The moment you decide to stop, you will begin to understand that surrender isn't about quitting. It's about reconnecting with the essence of who you really are. By surrendering, you stop fighting against the flow of life, and instead, you start aligning yourself with it. You trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it's meant to. This process isn't easy, and it takes time. But when you stop trying to force things into place, you'll finally see that life is working with you, not against you. There's this false belief that to succeed, you must constantly hustle, that every moment needs to be filled with some form of action. But think about it. When was the last time you really paused? When was the last time you let yourself simply be? The hustle culture teaches us that if we don't keep moving, we'll miss out. But in reality, it's the stillness that allows for true growth. You cannot force a flower to bloom faster by pulling at its petals. Just like that flower, you need the space to grow at your own pace. And sometimes that space is the quiet moment of surrender, where you trust that the growth is happening even when you can't see it. Chapter 1. Stop chasing. You're blocking yourself. We've been fed a lie, the pervasive belief that success comes solely from relentless pursuit, from an exhausting and endless race, that happiness is merely the result of constant striving, of an incessant search for something external. The media, our culture, society at large, they all tell us in unison that if we just push harder, hustle longer, and keep grinding, eventually what we want will miraculously fall into our hands. But that, my dear friend, is not the truth. That's a shallow understanding of how creation truly works. Carl Jung, in his profound wisdom, didn't teach us to chase dreams blindly, exhausting ourselves in a fruitless race. He taught us to ask the most important question of all. Why am I chasing this in the first place? He urged us to delve into the depths of our motivations, to unearth the hidden springs of our desires. The thing you're chasing might not be the real desire at all. It's often merely a band-aid for a deeper, unhealed wound that festers beneath the surface. When you crave love so desperately, to the point of feeling desperate, is it truly about authentic connection and healthy intimacy? Or is it, at its core, about the profound, unacknowledged fear of being abandoned again, of reliving an old, painful wound from your past? When you obsess over wealth, over material fortune, is it truly about the freedom and possibilities that money can bring? Or are you still trying to prove your worth, your value, to the people who once made you feel small, insignificant or unworthy of love and success? Jung's genius wasn't in superficial motivation, it was in profound confrontation. He spoke a truth that pierces through illusion. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. This powerful statement means that if you don't bring your deep-seated wounds, your unresolved traumas, your limiting beliefs, and your unacknowledged shadows into the light of your conscious awareness, they will continue to control your desires, your choices, and ultimately the trajectory of your life. You will be operating on autopilot, driven by an invisible script, and you won't even realize it. So you keep running toward things, chasing external achievements, thinking they'll complete you, that they'll fill the void within. But life doesn't give you what you want from a place of craving. It gives you what you are. If what you are, at your core, is wounded, desperate, and fragmented, then every goal you chase will slip through your fingers like sand through a sieve. This is because the energy behind your effort, your deepest vibrational signature, is sending the silent but potent message: I am not whole, I am not worthy, I need this to feel enough. And the universe, acting as a perfect mirror, simply mirrors that vibration back to you, reinforcing your current state. This fundamental misalignment is why countless individuals burn out chasing relationships that never work, careers that drain their life force, and validation that fades as quickly as it appears. It's not because the goal itself is inherently wrong or because they are inherently flawed. It's because the self behind the goal, the individual pursuing it, is fractured, carrying unhealed pain and internal discord. The obsession is never truly about the external thing. It's always about what you unconsciously believe that thing will fix inside you. If you were to magically get exactly what you wanted right now, in this very moment, you might not even be able to hold on to it, because your hands are still trembling with old pain, old fears, and unresolved wounds that still pulse within your being. Jung wasn't here to help you manifest from ego, from a place of lack, insecurity, or superficial desire. He was here to help you integrate your soul, to bring all fragmented parts of yourself back into wholeness. The most powerful thing you can do, therefore, is to stop chasing. Halt this desperate pursuit. Instead, start facing the part of you that's been quietly screaming, often in the dead of night, I'm not chasing success, I'm chasing wholeness, I'm chasing myself. So before you ask the universe for more external rewards, before you demand that reality bend to your will, ask yourself, with brutal honesty and compassion, what part of me still feels empty? What void still aches? What wound remains unaddressed? Heal that part, bring it into the light, acknowledge its existence, and you'll naturally stop chasing what was never truly yours, what was never meant for you from a place of lack. This is not about quitting your goals or abandoning your dreams. It's about cleansing your reasons for pursuing them, purifying the intention behind every action. It's about becoming the kind of person who no longer needs external validation or outcomes because they've already become whole within themselves. Only then will the universe stop testing you, stop challenging you with obstacles and repeated lessons, and start trusting you, opening the doors of effortless flow and genuine abundance. The unconscious is always listening. Most people wake up every day thinking they're being tested by life, that the universe is conspiring to make their journey difficult, that obstacles are thrown in their way merely to see how strong they are, to prove their resilience. But the truth is far deeper and infinitely more personal than that. You're not being tested, you're being mirrored. Life doesn't respond to what you want on a superficial level, your conscious desires, your verbal affirmations. It responds to who you are, to your deepest, most authentic vibrational signature. Not your carefully crafted affirmations, repeated mechanically without feeling. Not your optimistic Instagram captions about healing and success designed for public consumption. But your unconscious identity, the silent, often hidden belief system that pulses like an invisible current beneath every decision you make, every reaction you have, every reality you experience. Carl Jung understood this with brutal clarity, a sharpness that cuts through illusion. He said, "Your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens." This is not merely poetry, it's a direct instruction. Translation: stop looking for signs in the sky, for external validation, or for external solutions to internal problems. Start reading the signs within your own soul, in the unexplored depths of your psyche. Because here's the brutal reality. If your unconscious mind is filled with doubt, fear, unresolved trauma, a persistent and pervasive sense of unworthiness, you could write affirmations in gold ink on your ceiling, repeat them aloud until your throat goes dry, chant, "I'm enough," until exhaustion, and still those affirmations won't land. They won't take root because deep down, in your most profound core, you don't genuinely believe it. Words without aligned energy are empty vessels. You can't lie to the unconscious. It hears everything. It remembers every trauma, every broken promise, every insecurity planted in childhood, every slight and every fear. And it runs the show. Even when you think you're in conscious control, let's be real for a second. That tightness in your chest when you visualize your future, that unsettling feeling, that anxiety when you think about how it'll all come together, that's not intuition gently guiding you. That's your unconscious screaming in a desperate, silent protest. You don't really think this is possible, do you? You don't truly believe you deserve this? And so, life, acting as a perfect, impartial mirror, reflects that inner disharmony. It delays the blessing, not out of cruelty, not because the universe wants to punish you, but because your energetic frequency broadcasts, "I'm not ready to receive. I am not truly aligned with what I consciously say I want." So what do we do in the face of this brutal yet liberating truth? We stop. We stop begging for external validation and immediate results. We stop obsessing over the perfect timing or the flawless plan. We stop throwing more superficial positivity on top of internal chaos and deep-seated disharmony. Real power isn't found in more frantic effort, in more doing. It's found in presence, in a state of conscious being. It's found in slowing down enough to hear the subtle whispers of your own psyche, the intuitive nudges of your soul, the hidden messages from your unconscious. When you feel doubt, don't run from it, don't repress it, don't push it away. When fear shows up, don't bury it under another layer of forced positive thinking or a motivational podcast that only scratches the surface. Instead, sit with it, embrace it, decode it. Ask it, what are you trying to teach me? What part of me needs attention and healing? Because every fear is a message, every hesitation is a signal. Your unconscious is always speaking, constantly revealing profound truths. The question is, are you brave enough to listen? Are you willing to descend into the depths of your own soul to find the answers? And here's the twist, the profound irony and the breakthrough moment. When you finally do nothing, not out of apathy, but out of a deep trust. When you stop interfering with the natural flow of life, when you stop trying to force divine timing with human impatience, that's when the shift begins. That's when your energy naturally aligns. That's when the unconscious stops resisting. And that's when the universe says with a sigh of relief and profound recognition, now you're ready. Now you are truly ready to receive what is yours by divine right. You're not here to chase alignment, you're here to become it. And becoming begins in stillness, integrating the shadow, the path to wholeness. Let's delve deeper into Jung's profound concept of the shadow. The shadow is not merely the bad side of ourselves that we try to hide, repress, or deny. It encompasses everything that the ego, our conscious self-image, does not accept about itself. This includes not only negative qualities like anger, envy, laziness, or selfishness, but also unexpressed positive attributes such as unacknowledged creativity, repressed courage, spontaneous joy, or innate wisdom. While you strive to appear perfect or socially acceptable, you inadvertently repress these shadow aspects. This pervasive repression doesn't simply make them disappear. It builds up and eventually manifests in undesirable ways in your life. It projects onto others, leading to misunderstandings, judgment, and conflict. It causes self-sabotage, subtly undermining your efforts and preventing your progress, manifesting as inexplicable blocks or repeated failures. It can even manifest as unexplained anxiety, chronic illness, or recurring patterns of disappointment. Jung teaches us that true healing and psychological integration are not about eliminating the shadow, because it's an inherent part of the human psyche. Rather, it's about integrating it. It's about consciously bringing to light what has been hidden in the darkness of the unconscious mind. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious, he famously said. This means turning toward your discomfort, your perceived flaws, your deepest insecurities, and your suppressed aspects with radical curiosity and unwavering compassion. When you choose to sit with your shame, to acknowledge your perceived failures, to explore your most terrifying fears, you are not diminishing yourself. You are, paradoxically, expanding your capacity for life and self-acceptance. You are recovering the immense energy that was previously consumed in the exhausting effort of repressing and hiding these parts of yourself. This liberated energy then becomes a powerful source of authentic power, boundless creativity, and vital life force. As a result, self-sabotage naturally diminishes because the desperate need to prove something to yourself or to others gradually dissolves, replaced by an inner knowing of your inherent worth. You become authentically yourself because you are finally whole and integrated. This process of shadow integration is by no means easy. It requires immense courage, vulnerability, and sustained self-honesty to look squarely at what most shames or frightens us within. But it is precisely in this courageous descent into the depths of our own being, into the unlit corners of our psyche, that we find the key to true freedom and radical self-acceptance. The shadow, once acknowledged, understood, and embraced as a part of your totality, ceases to be a hidden enemy dictating our lives from the dark and becomes a powerful ally, a wellspring of wisdom, resilience, and untapped potential. It is through this integration that we transform our wounds into profound wisdom, our perceived weaknesses into unique strengths, and our past into a solid foundation for a more authentic, fulfilling, and purpose-driven future. The process of deconditioning and the inner voice. When you consistently choose to stop chasing external validation and outcomes and instead intentionally begin to listen inward, a voice entirely different from any you've heard before will emerge. This is not the demanding voice of society's expectations, nor the internalized voice of your parents' conditioning, nor the clamoring, often anxious voice of your ego, desperately seeking external validation and striving to prove its worth. But rather, it is the clear, resonant voice of your soul, of your authentic self, as Jung so eloquently called it. This is the voice of your innate truth, your intrinsic wisdom, your infallible inner compass, always pointing you towards your highest good and most authentic path. From early childhood, we were systematically conditioned to seek external approval, to conform to social norms, to live according to what others expected of us, to fit into predefined molds. This pervasive programming often distances us dramatically from who we truly are, from our unique design and inherent purpose. The act of stopping, of surrendering, of embracing stillness, is therefore a profound act of deconditioning. You are actively breaking free from old, limiting patterns of thought and behavior that were imposed upon you. You are liberating yourself from the invisible chains of internalized expectations, societal pressures, and the constant need for external approval. When you consistently practice this internal quietude and conscious letting go, the voice of your soul begins to become increasingly audible, clear, and undeniable. It doesn't scream or demand attention. It whispers gently, persistently, often through subtle nudges, quiet feelings, or sudden intuitive insights. It doesn't impose rigid rules or obligations. It invites you to explore, to create, to simply be in alignment with your true nature. It is the voice that tells you what genuinely resonates with your deepest being, what truly brings you joy, meaning, and fulfillment, irrespective of external rewards. It is the authentic yes or no that bypasses intellectual reasoning and comes straight from your core, a knowing that transcends logic. This inner voice is your direct, unwavering connection to your higher self, to your intuition, and to the divine wisdom that resides within. It's the compass that guides you to your true path, away from what no longer serves you. Learning to discern and trust this voice is paramount. It requires patience, quietude, and a willingness to step away from the external noise and distractions that constantly vie for your attention. The more you listen, the stronger it becomes. The more you act on its guidance, the more aligned your life becomes. The wisdom of non-doing, allowing, and receiving. The paradox of spiritual growth and manifestation is that often the most powerful action you can take is non-action. This is not about passivity, laziness, or avoidance of responsibility. It's about discerning when to exert effort and when to allow and receive. The prevailing hustle culture conditions us to believe that ceaseless activity, constant motion, and perpetual striving are the only paths to success. We are taught that if we pause, if we don't do something every waking moment, we are falling behind, missing opportunities, or being unproductive. This belief creates immense psychological pressure and leads to chronic burnout, resulting in a constant state of striving, without ever reaching true fulfillment or inner peace. However, true wisdom lies in understanding the inherent rhythm of life, the natural ebb and flow, the seasons of intense action and crucial rest, the cycles of sowing and harvesting. Just as nature doesn't force a flower to bloom ahead of its time, or a fruit to ripen unnaturally, but rather provides the optimal conditions for growth to occur spontaneously and perfectly, so too must we learn to trust the inherent intelligence of the universe and the innate wisdom of our own inner being. The wisdom of non-doing means consciously stepping back, creating sacred space and allowing things to unfold organically. It's about cultivating deep patience, surrendering to divine timing, and trusting the unfolding process. It's in these moments of stillness, of quiet contemplation, that profound inspiration often strikes. Innovative solutions reveal themselves effortlessly, and synergistic opportunities miraculously align. When you stop trying to force outcomes with a clenched fist, as mentioned in the introduction, you literally open your palm, your energetic receptivity, to receive. You release the desperate, grasping energy of needing and shift into the powerful magnetic vibration of allowing. This doesn't mean you abandon your goals or neglect your responsibilities. It means your actions become aligned with your authentic self and the effortless flow of the universe, rather than being driven by underlying fear, perceived lack, or a need for external validation. You still engage with life, you still take inspired action, but your engagement comes from a place of deep inner peace, profound wisdom, and intuitive knowing, not from anxiety or frantic striving. This allows you to receive crucial insights, experience powerful synchronicities, and access divine guidance that were previously blocked by your over-efforting and controlling tendencies. The universe, which operates with immense intelligence and efficiency, will then bring to you what is truly aligned with your highest good, often with far less effort than you ever imagined possible. This is the art of effortless creation, the awakened life, authenticity, purpose, and flow. When you consistently embody this profound state of surrender, psychological integration of your shadow aspects, and deep inner listening, your life transforms from a constant uphill struggle into an awakened journey marked by radical authenticity, clear purpose, and effortless flow. You cease operating from a place of external validation, constantly seeking approval or external definitions of success, and begin living from your deepest inner truth, guided by your intrinsic wisdom. Your actions become less about proving something to the world, to others, or even to yourself, and more about authentically expressing who you truly are, your unique gifts, talents, and essence. This fundamental shift is nothing short of profound. Instead of perpetually pushing uphill against resistance, you begin to flow downstream, carried by an irresistible current of divine alignment and universal support. Authenticity becomes your unwavering guiding principle. You no longer feel the need to wear masks, to pretend to be someone you're not, or to conform to societal expectations that don't resonate with your soul's deepest calling. Your work, your relationships, your creative expressions, indeed, every facet of your life become genuine, honest, and vibrant extensions of your true self. This radical authenticity acts as a powerful magnet, naturally attracting what is truly meant for you, people, opportunities, and experiences that are in harmonious resonance with your elevated inner being, rather than those that perpetuate old patterns or unhealed wounds. As Carl Jung noted, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. This journey of becoming is propelled by authenticity. Purpose then clarifies itself, not as something to be aggressively found through external searching or intellectual pursuit, but as something to be uncovered or revealed from within. It's a natural unfolding that emerges effortlessly when the internal noise of the ego subsides and the whispers of the soul become clear. Your purpose isn't something you chase, it's something you become. It's the unique and indispensable way your integrated self expresses its gifts, talents, and passions in the world, contributing to the greater good, effortlessly and joyfully. This purpose is intimately tied to your authentic self, and it will align with your deepest desires. And finally, flow becomes your natural state of being. Life stops feeling like a constant uphill battle against overwhelming odds and begins to feel like a graceful dance, an intricate, beautiful choreography where synchronicities abound, unexpected opportunities appear as if by magic, and challenges are met with an inner calm, a sense of creative resourcefulness and a quiet confidence. This isn't about avoiding challenges or living a life devoid of growth moments, but about meeting them from a place of deep centeredness and unwavering trust in the universal process. You are no longer trying to force alignment. You are alignment. You become a clear conduit for higher intelligence, allowing the universe to work through you, effortlessly bringing about the results that serve your highest good and the good of all. This is the ultimate promise of truly living in surrender. A life not of less, not of emptiness, but of infinitely more. More peace, more joy, more abundance, and a profound sense of fulfillment that transcends worldly definitions.